Hello and welcome to another episode of Context. I'm Dilek Tuna. Today we turn our gaze to the Gaza Strip once again, where hopes for a temporary ceasefire are rising after Israel accepted a new US proposal aimed at halting fighting and securing the release of more hostages. The announcement follows intense diplomacy led by President Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff, who has expressed cautious optimism. But while the political track inches forward, conditions on the ground remain dire. In the last 24 hours, Israeli airstrikes have killed over 50 people and destroyed the only functioning dialysis centre in northern Gaza. The UN and international aid organisations have condemned the deaths of Palestinians seeking food near US-backed aid distribution points. Even the Israeli-supported Gaza Humanitarian Foundation claims that thousands of boxes have been handed out without incident. As the onslaught drags on, the humanitarian crisis deepens and the questions grow louder. Can diplomacy hold? Can aid reach those who need it most? And is the cost of this war becoming untenable for both sides? So joining me today for further analysis is political analyst Enrique Cochero. Enrique, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Now, let's begin with the ceasefire proposal. What do we know about the terms of the US plan and why has Israel agreed to it now?
The terms is not going to be so quite different from whatever Benjamin Netanyahu wants to reach. In the meanwhile, Israel is just reaching their positions and their goals, their objectives, in order to have something more than just a narrow margin of negotiation, which means that if Netanyahu announced, I think last week, 10 days ago, that they were going to go for the 70% of Gaza in order to set the goal in a strategic way, that strategy, it relies on whatever I have to get in order to reach an agreement with Hamas in this case. So whatever aligns with that objective is not gonna separate a lot from the U.S. objectives in order to get a ceasefire. First and foremost are the hostages. They're gonna have to come back to Israel. They're going to have to be liberated by Hamas. And afterwards, Witkoff, from my point of view, Witkoff is not being quite accurate or quite specific on the terms. I mean, you can read on those terms that there is a need of ceasefire. Perfect. But whatever is gonna come after, I think it's gonna be a day-by-day basis, point-by-point agreement, and let's see what the next days are gonna give us.
Okay, and what is Hamas likely to demand in return? Could this lead to a broader truce, or is it more of a temporary pause with limited goals?
I think it's gonna be the second option. I mean, we got a huge historical line of whatever. It doesn't matter. It was the PLO or Hamas or whoever, whatever the organization was, because we have to remember that Hamas has not been here since 1947, and which is the starting point of the land split that the UN asked in a resolution back then. So right now, Hamas is not is on the same path, and Hamas is on the same philosophy, for using a word, that the land is not has to be split in two countries. There is no Israel for them. And I think this is a very, this war is a backdraft after the October the 7th terrorist attacks, I don't know if it was. I put seriously on doubt that this backdrop is not seeked, but whatever Hamas wants to reach right now probably is just a ceasefire with some points of accord, but they're not going to renounce to having the whole land. And so this some kind of, for me, from my perspective, this is some kind of impasse. It's not a final, ultimate goal or a point of agreement. Probably this ceasefire, even a some sort of truce, is gonna take place. But Hamas is gonna keep fighting for the whole land, and Hamas is gonna keep fighting for having the whole of Israel, and Israel is gonna fight back again. In that sense, we can't avoid thinking in terms of historical perception and in terms of historical perspective about this war.
Okay. Now, Enrique, on the ground in Gaza, we've seen reports of widespread famine and disease, and just this week, the only dialysis clinic in northern Gaza was destroyed. What do we know about the state of medical infrastructure at this point? And I also want to add, we know that they've set up these new aid centres where they're distributing food, and a lot of scenes are coming out of this strip where we see that happening as well. But what about medical facilities? How much support are they able to provide with these new aid centres that they want to be in control of? The Israelis, I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. In some points, I've been checking for this interview the news, and at some point looking for very prestigious, out of depth press agencies. They know for sure that Hamas is releasing videos of dire situations in Gaza, and even the agencies are saying, okay, this is undated. We don't know if this video is just recently recorded or has been recorded at any other point in time. Mm-hmm. There is no right now. We know about this dialysis center, as you said, it has been destroyed, and right now we can't, because Israel is denying all these proofs and is denying whatever the attacks are going to go against hospitals and dialysis centers or whatever. But right now we don't have certainty of whatever is happening. We know for sure in the global picture that there have been attacks on human aid. There had been attacks on hospitals and centers and on health centers. And for sure that the situation is quite dire, as I said before. But right now, probably the essential information about what is going on in there, it's something that probably only Israel and Hamas got, and they're not gonna release it without an intention.
Okay, and
said that.
Sorry, go ahead. Keep going.
No, said that. I've been trying to be very cautious in try to contrast all the information there is coming, because we're living sort of disinformation war as well from both sides. So at some point, I really want to be very go forward in a very prudential way on this matter.
Okay. this question is sort of related, but as far as two different accounts go, aid distribution is a flashpoint. The UN condemns killings near the distribution sites, while the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation claims operations are running smoothly. So how do we reconcile these conflicting accounts?
As I told you before, it's something that probably we don't find out in the next hours, not even in the next days. And for a better understanding of whatever is going on the terrain, we need a guy on the terrain right now in order to know what's going on. Press agencies can't say for sure what's the reality on the places. So that's the reason why I try to be very cautious. Being an analyst is not considering whatever is coming. It's trying to analyze what is the certainty in the information that is coming to you and what you consider truthful sources and untruthful sources. And in that, you make a map and you aggregate information in order to release some sort of probability in terms of scenarios. And right now, the agencies that you can consider truthful and the sources that you can consider truthful are not that many. So we're some sort of blindfolded here, and I mean, it's not very cautious to try to make any kind of prediction in whatever is going on right now.
Okay. In light of what we've seen, though, so far, we know that, homes have been reduced to rubble, ground zero. People are out on the streets scrambling for any sort of shelter and, a safe place to be. Food, obviously, is very, very dire. The situation is dire due to a lack of food, people on the brink of famine and starvation, and so on. Is it possible to conduct truly safe and neutral aid operations inside Gaza right now, given the military dynamics and collapsing civil order?
First and foremost, it's needed. I mean, I know for sure that population is not Palestinian and Gaza population is not Hamas in a 1-to-1 ratio. People need to be fed, and this scarce situation has to end some way or another. There is some kind of as you were asking, there is some kind of objective information about what's going on in there. I can't say yes 100%. Whatever, everything. I mean, whatever is whoever is looking to this problem, trying to be objective, it's the information is quite scarce, as well as many other things running out on this conflict, and we can't find any sort of accommodation in the information that we are retrieving in order to be, I don't know, relieved or concerned in either way. But right now, we can say that the situation is fully 100% controlled and the aid is reaching their places. We can't say that, but and whatever the images, pictures, or filming that we are receiving everywhere, we can see scarcing and we can see shortage and we can see that it's not enough for the population that they're attending. So if we stick to that information and we stick to that pictures and filming and resources in the matter, we can say, okay, the war is on. There is no way that this situation is going to improve if the ceasefire, otherwise the ceasefire is coming. So it's urgent. For me, it's urgent to reach an agreement, to reach a ceasefire at least. The war is not going to end here. We know for sure that the war is not going to end here. And we got probably weeks, months ahead of us in order to reach an agreement between the two parts. Intermediation, not intermediation on the way, but in the other side, the humanitarian side, the aid has to reach. And right now we got very, very few sources that we can consider reliable in order to know that aid is just reaching the places they have to. It has to.
Okay. And moving on now, to what extent is international pressure, particularly from the US and Germany, beginning to shift Israel's approach?
Either country is not. Either country is given the feedback that the things are not gonna go right. The situation has to reach an end sooner or later, or the soonest, and because it's not. This is going beyond an attack. This is going beyond the proportional response of an attack. This is going beyond quite the shot is on, and probably is not the best simile here, but the shot is going too far for whatever was acceptable on the beginning. And Germany knows this. The UE, by extension, knows this. The United States knows this, and for sure, Donald Trump is looking for, and the United States is looking for an agreement and being a part, an important part of that agreement, because otherwise, the leadership and the influence on the conflict is gonna be taken. I don't want to say as a joke, but probably a not very reliable intermediation from the United States. And leadership's right now on this conflict, and Ukrainian conflict, is determined, is something determining in order to keep whatever the influence of the United States and whatever the influence of Donald Trump in the worldwide perspective wants to keep. So I think right now Netanyahu is playing more with their reaching their goals and aiming to an end of the war by his own means. And against that is the international perspective and the international expectation in order to reach an agreement before Netanyahu gets his final objective. So I think lots of pressure is right now on the UE and on the EU, and on the United States.
Okay, and Enrique, from a broader geopolitical perspective, how are Arab states and regional powers reacting to the evolving situation? Has their position shifted since October?
If we can see our conversation during the last minutes, if we see the news that we can read right now and watch on TV, I can say that Arab countries are not trying to be the most have the most protagonism here on this war. The only country, and it's not Muslim, it's not Arab, is Turkey, and I know for sure that Turkey is playing its part just because they know they got a lot of things on their part right now, including the Ukraine war. And I don't know that any sort of special commitment from any Arab country right now, not even trying to draw the commitment or the pressure or the interest that the European Union, Germany, France, or the United States got on this conflict. And I don't know why. I haven't reached that point of analysis yet. And I know for sure that whatever the accord that has to come here in the Gaza conflict, in the war, is gonna be accepted by those countries. Right now, I mean, I'm just waiting for Iran in order to know what's going to happen next. We know that the Houthis are just supported by Iran, but Iran is not saying much. I mean, saying something, but it's not saying much. And that silence, or that sort of silence, is concerning me a lot.
Okay, Enrique, finally, what would a sustainable resolution even look like at this point? And are there any realistic scenarios being discussed beyond just temporary ceasefires?
As I said on the beginning of the interview, I don't see any sort of final agreement right now. I mean, first we have to see how long it's, how strong, and how, I don't know how to say this, but how respected is going to be a ceasefire that we don't have already. So we have to reach, or we have to see a sort of agreement for a ceasefire right now, in order to see, okay, let's gonna talk about the next steps, or let's gonna talk about the next phases. And before that, we have to see that ceasefire is gonna be respected by both sides. So what we learn is that we're in this conflict for several months, and whatever the tries, or whatever they intend to get a ceasefire, it hasn't gone too well right now. So I think it's kind of, I don't know, imprudent to say right now, to talk about sort of a truce, or sort of an end of the conflict right now, because everything can go far from rails, even if they announce tomorrow a ceasefire. So, I mean, let's see it step by step, because we got used to say, okay, this is a ceasefire. After the ceasefire is going to be talks, and after the talks is going to be the truce, and after the truce is going to be the peace. It's not the case right now, as we've seen during the last months.
Okay. All right, Enrique, that's all we have time for today. I really appreciate your analysis and your insights. Thanks for joining us on Context.
Thank you very much.
And that brings us to the end of another episode of Context. I'm Dilek Tuna. Thank you for watching.